What's up, Ghosts and Ghouls? It's the one, the only JT Ripper, and I'm here with
Todd of Thunder.
And today, we're back. We're taking another break, but we also have yet another review with the 2023 Exorcist Believer.
Yep. We just went and saw it, and we're going to give you our thoughts on it. We came away with this with two different perspectives.
Pros and cons and hatred.
Pretty much. You were on the fence. I kind of liked it a little bit more, and we're going to get into each one of our points of views on the Exorcist Believer.
Okay. Well, this is a direct sequel, so to speak, to the original Exorcist, so it bypasses 2 and 3. If you didn't know it was a sequels to the original already, it pretty much does Halloween 2018 and just says, fuck that, throw it in the trash. We're just going from the first one and continuing with our own story.
Put out by Blumhouse and directed by David Gordon Green, who also did the 2018 trilogy as well.
So for some people out there,
it's a good thing. Some people is like, this is shit.
Yeah, exactly. For some people it's good. For some people it's bad. Do you want to dive into the story of it? I mean, it's really not much of a story. It's pretty basic, honestly. A pretty basic story. 2 girls that are friends go into the woods because one girl wants to talk to her mom, who she's never met, and then they vanish for 3 days, and when they come back, they are possessed with
by demons.
By demons.
Yeah, and the 2 families, they basically have to deal with this, and there's 2 very different perspectives. One is just a father, of course, of the girl who mother passed away, as, of course, you mentioned, giving childbirth.
Yes, and he had the choice to save one.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a twist into it. That we find out later on, and obviously the girl is here, but she wasn't necessarily the choice. But the other family is more of a church-going family, kind of your typical everyday church, Jesus-believing family and everything. And they kind of come at it at 2 different points. You know, of course, the religious family kind of picks up a little bit on it that, you know, hey, we might need a priest or exorcist. These are, you know, demons or whatever. And the father's not so much. The other father is kind of like, you know, let's look at this psychologically. Let's do everything medical that we can kind of do. But it gets to a point where you try everything, and then you kind of try something out of the box that you don't normally do because you just kind of out of options type of deal. And, you know, the Exorcist begins with a bunch of people, blah, 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 blah. But some of the positives that I have about this film is I think the 2 little girls did a hell of a job. I
agree with that.
Being possessed.
The girls were awesome. They look great, too.
Yeah, the makeup, the special effects makeup in this film was very good. Like, each one of them legitimately looked creepy. Like, I was thinking to myself, you know, if I saw these girls in an alleyway, in a dark alleyway, I probably wouldn't go up to them and be like, hey, what's wrong? You know,
you want some candy?
Yeah, I'm freaking running away from that. And, of course, we got to give a shout out to, the voice actors that actually did the demon voices in this. I was just talking to you about how maybe, you know, we were a little on the fence about maybe this would be corny, but no, they were just, in my opinion, they were just as good as the Reagan voice in the original.
Yes, the audio person behind this did a fairly good job making it their own different. It was good, like watching them switch in and out of, obviously their real voice and these demonic voices. There was only one part where it kind of looked like the demon voice didn't match up, just for like one split second. But that's just being nitpicky. But as far as the demon voices go, chef's kiss. I was very worried about that, and that was something that definitely delivered. I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, and there were some things in the film that were very cringe, but not like cringe as you think in, oh my God. It was cringe as it literally made me cringe. A lot of the fingernail stuff, because everybody, if you've been working and you've ever like bent your fingernail back and,
Yeah.
or, it got ripped off, it's just one of those things where it's not going to kill you, but it's fucking evil and yucky to think about. It's kind of like a paper cut. It's like, when you get a paper cut, it's so simple, but it's like goddamn hurt so bad.
Yeah, it's like what was it? Hills Have Eyes, where they like gave him a bunch of paper cuts and put him in a shitter.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Well, it was like little knife cuts, but yeah. Anyway, that I think that they paper cut him and put him in there because they're mean people.
So, I wouldn't call this gore, but I would call it like really yucky, just like make you feel uncomfortable and unsettling.
It's very unsettling.
And for that, whoever was in charge with the special effects makeup and putting all this together, I think they did a tremendous job.
Yeah, that part, because their feet was burnt and blistered because they, walked through hell, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which is what the one of the mothers, the only mother, pointed out when they were like, they're acting funny and the bottom of their feet is blistered, which is weird. Your feet wouldn't be blistered like that just walking through the woods.
Yeah,
and that comes from fire.
And she pretty much put that story together because of a story in the Bible about how Jesus walked through hell for 3 days and then risen. And she kind of puts two and two together and says, well, these girls must have walked through hell.
And came back because they showed up on the third day.
So that's why the feet were blistered, which I thought was cool. We're not very religious people, but anytime you can incorporate that to a story.
Yeah, if you can make it work, kudos.
And make it work and make it make sense and like add to it where you go, that's pretty profound. That's pretty cool. I'm on board with that. So
yeah, that's pretty much all the positives I have for it.
Well, I mean,
my negatives list is way more than your positive list.
Well, I'm gonna let you get to it, but I'm just gonna let you know. Of course, I'll give you my rating at the end of the film. But
of course.
A, I really didn't have a problem with this. B, I thought it was a damn good movie. I wasn't expecting The Exorcist 1973, and I believe that this film, as a direct sequel to that, is the best film that we've gotten, because the third film had nothing to do with Reagan or anything. I look at that as kind of like a Halloween 3 standalone film. That's a great film. Go watch it. Part 2, The Heretic, fucking sucks.
It is better than The Heretic, but that's like a shit sandwich, and a shit sandwich without crust.
Well, I didn't think this was a shit sandwich. I thought that this was I don't know, ham and cheese with just the right amount of mayonnaise.
Ham and cheese with the right amount.
This was a
fucking ham, all right.
No, it was a good ham and cheese sandwich baked in the oven, and get that bread just crispy, just enough mayonnaise on it for me. I had zero fucking problem with this. And as a matter of fact, at the end of the film, when we got the cameo by Linda Blair and her mom, I actually really dug that scene. I thought that was fucking awesome. It made me, it got me a little bit in the feels, I almost, shedded a tear on that.
Shitted a tear?
shedded a tear on that.
Shitted.
I almost shedded a tear on that.
That was one of my favorite moments of the movie.
Yeah, because and the ending of the film, when it just faded to black and the red Exorcist thing and the original music started playing, I thought that was great too. So I don't really have any negatives to point out in this film, honestly. So I'll let you take over.
Okie dokie. Where do I start with? I'm trying to think if there's any more positives I have for this movie. The performances in this movie by the main dad is spectacular. So this movie does what the 2019 Candyman did, but not quite as insulting, but enough to take me out of the movie. So the main dad, the good dad, is a black gentleman with his daughter. The other family in this movie is white, and they are dysfunctional. They're chaotic. They are pretty Republican, honestly. And their daughter is a fucking brat. She's a brat. There's no other way to put it. The little white girl's a fucking brat. So right off from right there, I'm not saying that that's my problem, like race-wise with it, but it keeps going with it. So the main other white dad is a fucking putz. I mean, he's that. I don't know. What's the dad equivalent of a Karen? I don't know. Kevin. He's a Kevin. Kevin and Karen family. That's exactly what you get with these people. Your priest that, wants to help and tries very hard to help is a Mexican gentleman, and he goes to his peers, and they're, shooting down and tell him no, and they're all white.
I thought that one guy was Chinese looking.
No, they were white. And the kind of, I guess the other black woman that was helping was, I think, I don't know if she was like originally like kind of voodoo. I'm not sure, but she wasn't Christian, but she was very well spoken, very intelligent and everything like that. She knew what she was doing. Awesome. Now the pastor of the Karen and Kevin church was this guy that you would see, donate now. I'm praying for you through the phone. In the next 30 seconds, send us $250,000 because my wife is dying of cancer / my mistress needs a new Ferrari and my plane needs jet fuel. He gave that vibe totally. I cared for the nurse that was trying to help the dad and stuff like that, get through stuff. Of course, she's a fucking baby murderer and all this shit. But I didn't like the main girl, or the main white girl. I didn't like the Kevin and Karen family. I thought they just wasn't likable. There was no redeeming qualities about them. I wanted the white girl to die. I cared about the black dad and his daughter. They did great. They were awesome. I feel like this movie did a Candyman on me.